Hey guys, Plumber Hammer here. In the plumbing truck today, just starting my day. The goal for today is to put out another discussion video. One thing I've been thinking about a lot lately is the concept that I call Army schizophrenia. Now, the point of this video is to kind of deep dive into individuals like myself that have more than one army. And what I feel you need to do if you are one of these individuals that chooses to play 2, 3, 4, or in my foolish case, 10 to 12 Warhammer 40k armies. This video is by no means intended to insult or diminish single army players, because in reality, y'all are usually the most successful on the tabletop. Your bank accounts probably look a hell of a lot better than mine, and there's nothing wrong. There is no right way to play Warhammer 40k. If you have one army, good on you. Be it for financial reasons, for the sake of your sanity, there's only one army that you think is cool, good. It probably makes your life a whole lot easier. But for all the rest of us that a single army player, you are not labeled as such, this video's for you. Thank you guys. Let's get started.
Happy Eclipse Day, guys. I'm in Texas, so this is a picture I captured of Bailey's beads.
Hey guys, Plumber Hammer here. So as I mentioned earlier at the start of my plumbing day, what I wanted to talk about in this video is what I'm calling Army schizophrenia. So obviously I'm not trying to make fun of the actual disease of the same name. This is more a disease of the wallet. So again, it's not meant to make fun in any way. Just kind of a reference to what one deals with when owning multiple Warhammer armies. One thing I've noticed is that if you are going to be a person that plays multiple armies of Warhammer 40,000, you have to focus on one army at a time, or at least I do. I cannot switch armies very rapidly unless I just really want my opponent to have an easy time of kicking the shit out of me. And so that's kind of where I'm going with this, is a recommendation. Even if you have two armies, to rapidly switch between the two, you're doing yourself a disservice. Warhammer 40,000 is first and foremost a game of strategy with a little bit of luck thrown in there, but you can't blame it all on your dice rolls if you're not doing well, because we all know that you can really increase the success of your dice rolls with good positioning on the battlefield. as well as knowing what you're going to do with your models and making good lists. I will blame a bad list over my dice rolls any day. And that's why I'm saying you're going to have a lot more success being a multiple army player if you stick to a faction for a long period of time. To the Houston GT, I was playing Genestealers, and I stuck to Genestealers, and I only played Genestealers for like 3-4 months. Did I want to switch armies? Absolutely. Genestealers are a very brainy army, and I'm not a very brainy guy. So, as you can see by what is in front of me, this is my Imperial Guard army. I often like to think that I'm a Sisters player at heart, and I do love Sisters of Battle probably more than any other army in 40K, but the Guard is where it's at for me. Guard is just so fun to play. And even from a lore standpoint, I am listening to audiobooks because I mostly digest my 40K books via Audible while I'm driving around in the plumbing truck, or I listen to Audible on my headphones when I'm jogging. From a lore standpoint, books about the Imperial Guard are my favorite by far. I love Space Marine books, don't get me wrong, but here's a good analogy. Here's a good way to think about it. When I'm reading books about Space Marines, I feel like I'm reading a comic book about superheroes. Because if you think about it, Space Marines are next level humans. They're often referred to in the lore as demigods. They're superheroes. They're super powered. They're super roided out. They can leap tall buildings in a single bound. No, they can do superhuman things, without a doubt. Guard novels are just books about everyday Joes willing to throw away their lives in service to the God Emperor of mankind, Aquila. Boom. And that's why I love them so much, because when I'm reading a book about a Space Marine, I'm like, no, can't relate. It's a cool perspective. I enjoy the hell out of it, don't get me wrong. But when I am listening to a Guard book, I'm just like, it's more relatable. That could be me. If I were born in a hive and was, trained from a young age to fire a lasgun and drilled and drilled and drilled because I was not smart enough, or maybe it was deemed that my body type and accuracy with a lasgun just meant that I would be wasted in the manufactoriums, that I would just get chosen to be one of the hammers of the Emperor. I just freaking love it. Right now, I'm reading a book called Steel Tread. Yeah. It is about a Lehman Russ battle tank. This is a third party.
Leman Russ battle tank. It's a Leman Russ that is a demolisher cannon. At the beginning of the novel, Steel Tread is outfitted with a las cannon in its pintle mount, and 2 heavy bolters on the sponsons, and a storm bolter in the cupola. The main character is a Segoan named Etzel, and she gets thrust into service as the commander of a Leman Russ demolisher. And man, if you ever had any desire to know what it's like being inside of a Leman Russ and being a crew member of a Leman Russ, that book is phenomenal. I cannot recommend it enough. I love the Guard. Shout out to Morty and Glory. I have been watching his videos like crazy now because that brings me back to the point of the video, focusing on the faction that you are currently playing when you have multiple armies. There's just no way around it. There's no way to be good with an army if you keep switching from army to army to army every week. There's just too many little niche things. You're never going to remember every single stratagem for every single situation that you run into. You're not going to build as good a list. So right now, with me being in Guard mode, watching tons of Morty and Glory, really digging into my list on Battlescribe and really figuring out what works, because I think it is safe to announce that for the next GT that I'll be playing in, the He-Yaw in Killeen, I'm going to be playing Imperial Guard. I know my last video I was showcasing the Dark Angels army that I have. I still have it, but I just do not have any hope of getting it painted in time. Whereas, as you can see, my Guard army is much, much further along. Still in that list building stage. To me, if you're going to play in a GT and you have multiple armies, step 1 would definitely be select the army that you think that you're going to play in that tournament, and then start playing as that army as much as you possibly can so that you can dig in, build a list that you're comfortable with, get used to those units, get used to your data sheets, because it's going to make you faster. If you know your stats by heart, you don't have to sit there and flip through your phone or flip through your data cards. It just makes it an overall much better experience than if you try to flip through armies week after week. Now, if you're just having fun, of course, do whatever you want. I am not suggesting exactly how you should play the game. I am just referring to my personal experience. There's a lot of you out there that are way smarter than I am, and maybe you can switch between armies week after week and still be really, really good and be a effective opponent to whoever you're playing against. Me, no. If I haven't stated it before, when I build an army, I don't consider that army done until I have as many of the feasible options available. So as you can see, I've got plenty, But the areas I'm lacking, I don't have a lot of Sentinels. And Sentinels look like they're a lot of fun. The unit that Sentinels go really well with is artillery. Artillery can utilize Sentinels with their daring recon ability, to where you no longer have to suffer the penalty from indirect fire, which is amazing. That's one thing I love about the Guard so much, is with artillery and indirect fire. I'm yet to play an army where I can really threaten people's home objective holders, and that is exactly what you do with artillery, is you blast your opponent off of their home objective if they put something wimpy on there, which, let's face it, that's most of our strategies. We put something small and insignificant that can hold our home objective, and people don't expect it to really get any attention paid to it till the third, fourth, or fifth battle round. And if you're playing against a Guard opponent that has Earthshaker carriages or basilisks or manticores or even a Deathstrike missile launcher, they can hit you turn one with no problem. In fact, if they give orders to their artillery, even with indirect fire, they're probably hitting you on fours with a lot of shots. And if you've put something like a small infantry squad, or when I used to play Sisters, I used to put like some Crusaders, and that was it. If you put something small and insignificant on your home objective and you're playing against Guard with artillery, you're not going to be holding your home objective turn two. Fun. I could have paid $500-$600 for a Baneblade that's magged, painted well, and has all 8 variants. Instead, I got a really, really nicely painted Krieg style Shadow Sword, and my favorite thing about it is that with just a couple of adjustments, oh yeah, y'all know what's coming. Y'all know what's coming. Stormlord, baby! The sponsor. Okay. Yep. Stormlord. Oh, so cool. The variant that nobody uses. But it's still really cool. And then boom. I believe that's called a Bane Hammer. With the Earthquake Cannon. So yeah, 3 variants of Baneblade, all in one, painted incredibly well. Painted in Deathcore of Krieg colors. So I have been watching videos on painting Krieg style because one thing you really have to nerd out when you have a Guard army is you have to decide what all your regiments that comprise your battle force are. Working on it. Most of my Leman Russes are going to be the Mordian 12th. That's why Ursula Creed is wearing Mordian colors. Heresy, I know. But she is doing it in honor of the Mordians that stood tall on Cadia, which, if you've read The Fall of Cadia, there were Mordians there. They fought valiantly. They did their best. So knowing that I was eventually going to have Mordians in my army, I painted Ursula in Mordian colors. So she's got her red jacket. I know in the lore she's wearing Ursakar's jacket, Daddy's jacket. In this case, she's wearing a Mordian jacket and Mordian colors. And so all my Leman Russes have this kind of camo pattern that I painted them in, but I'm going to give them a Mordian blue and a Mordian red stripe along the front, the regiment stripes, to indicate that they are the Mordian 12th Tank Division. And my Rogel Dorns will be painted in the Deathcore colors, because the Krieg Heavy Tank Battalion has lent a Shadow Sword and 2 Rogel Dorns to this battalion. We've got Kriegsmen here. I have a huge blob of Catachans. Catachans are so cool. You can't deny that. They're the toughest MFers of any guard regiment. And then of course I have good old Cadians. So can't have a guard army without Cadians, right? Unless you don't, and you've got like all Steel Legion if you're a real old Warhammer player. I've even got Arminka Lesk here. Look at her, the white shield hero of Cadia, the low-key unsung hero of Cadia. Her books are amazing too. Arminka Lesk, I love her. So yeah, Army Schizophrenia, Army Multiple Personality Disorder. One last time, the inspiration of this video was not to make fun of any kind of psychological disorder such as DID or schizophrenia. Instead, I was inspired by this video when I heard that people that speak multiple languages actually kind of take on a different personality whenever they switch between the various languages that they can speak. To me, you have to almost take on a different personality depending on which army you're playing as. So even though you can play guard, like combat guard, and kind of play them almost like Drukhari or, something like that, you almost have to take on a different personality depending on which army you're playing. So that's kind of where I was going with that. Pick an army and play it at least 3 months, I think. And then if you're bored with it and you're ready to switch to one of your other armies, have at it. But give it a chance. And also don't get frustrated. Like, especially when you first choose to switch armies again and you're playing as something that you haven't played as in a while. It's not going to go good, but just stick to it. Look at your list, revise things, see what units did good, see what units did bad, and build an awesome list, and then do that for a few months and then switch armies again. That is my advice for us folks with lots of the armies. there you have it, guys. I hope you all enjoyed my rambling, my droning, my talking about stuff. And yeah, my next video will be all my different guard units and why I like them. Thanks, guys. Plumber Hammer out.